Okay, it's 9 o'clock. Everyone?
Yeah, nobody used.
We get ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock. We're gonna start the meeting of the Law Enforcement Committee. I'll read the notice, which is this meeting and all meetings of this committee are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in ordinance with Wisconsin statute, so that the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Roll call.
Got it.
Got it? Okay. Agenda approval. Any additions or corrections or?
Make a motion to approve on the agenda approval, I'm sorry, I'd like to make a motion that we move the review bills after the election of the chair and vice chair. I think we should have a chair and vice chair in place before we start doing committee things. I'd just like to move the review bills down 2 spots.
Okay, we have a motion,
I'll second it.
seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carried. Okay, we have, minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes we presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion for this and seconded. Can we get that, please? Yeah, we did.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Public comment. Do we have any public comment here? No? Okay. The election of chair. Do I have a motion for the election of a chair?
I'd like to nominate Kevin Will.
I'll second it.
Okay. For Kevin Will, it's, a motion's been made and seconded. Do I have a second election of chair? Do I have a second election of chair? Do I have election of chair?
Make a motion to close.
Okay, motion's been made to close the chair.
Second it.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Motion carried.
Two more years.
I make a motion to unanimously pick Kevin.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay. Here you go, Chair. Welcome over. Congratulations.
That's my silly.
That's yours.
phone.
Okay.
The thing is loud. Well, otherwise they'd never sit here. That one. Flip phone that I have, Sheriff. Yeah. Well, thank you again. And that was 2 years. You had to put up with me. And yeah, I have to say, this is probably the best committee that I've gone to.
Appreciate
it. No, it's true, very true. And that, next on the agenda, we have the election of the vice chair. I would like to nominate Supervisor Earl at this time for vice chair.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to place Supervisor Earl as the vice chair. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Third and last time, any further nominations?
Make a motion to close nominations.
Very good.
Any discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, on that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Look forward to it.
And Lee, I appreciate it very much for you stepping in for us. I understand you are now
I get enough
Highways?
jobs. Yeah, I got enough jobs.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I kind of was thinking about that.
No,
and
no.
Thinking to myself, I also on human services and we'll have some things and Supervisor Ertl, I think is going to have to be picking up some of the slack for mine as well, so. He's gonna be very busy on this, so. Before we move on, I'd also like to say that we have the presence of our district attorney. Who's here, Ms. Turner? Is there anything in particular?
Just here to listen and answer any questions that might arise.
Appreciate your presence,
Thank you.
very much so. And also, we happen to have Chairman Morak here, who's filling in for a couple of our missing members of our committee, and I appreciate his effort also for coming in and ensuring that we have a quorum for this meeting.
Seems like old times. This is where I started when I was first elected.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, they kept me on the committee until they found out they didn't know anything about law enforcement.
They haven't figured that out yet for me, so it's working out. It's like, alrighty, let's get on to the agenda that we have. We, first off, following this correct, we're gonna do the review of bills. And Carl, as always, is there something that jumps out at us that we should be aware of?
Pretty much the entries are, the ones we usually have, but if you go on page, one of our capital under items on page 4 with, Kiesler and Nelson's, them are, if you remember back during budget time last year, we have the guns with the optics, that's where you get the 24,050 and the 15,000, them and the optics. Then you're gonna pull out a weapon and show them, but we did get our weapons and, they're in the process of, practicing. Is everybody all up to speed and everything on the weapons and everything? Or is you still
made the transition. Firearms.
So that's what that gun costs are.
And what again do we go to?
There are Glock 47 handguns, 9mm caliber. They are equipped with a holographic sight system, so it makes it much quicker for the officers to acquire the target, and if there is a threat, be able to stop that threat.
What does it mean to holographic sight system?
A light that reflects up on a small heads-up display on top of the firearm itself. So a traditional firearm would have a sight that you look over the top of the barrel, you'd see a dot and 2 rear sight posts. This just puts a lighted dot on the small screen, which makes it a lot quicker for that person to focus on that target, and it gives them the opportunity to make sure that the target presents a threat to them. It's more threat focus versus focusing on a little dot on top of the weapon itself. It's a great public safety tool.
And solar powered, the optic gives a little solar,
Right.
ident on the top of the sight.
That's the only big one.
Them are the big ones. The rest are, our gas and our fuel and pretty much regular items. We had quite a few in training this spring and we still have, people for its training. And we, back on page 10, Pedicare basically does them in bunches as far as all the charges in regards to the jail and such.
Not even bunches, one at a time, isn't it? One invoice at a time.
But they're in stacks, yeah.
And this is for the going to the hospital, I think. Yeah. Correct. Right, yeah.
Really can't see anything on it. Yeah.
Anything from the supervisors?
Page 11, $16,000 for the security system for the jail. Give up that. Pete.
Pretty good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That was the whole left there, up here. The video system in the records area. So surveillance up in the front by the records area. And transport the records.
It's connected to the jail DVR system.
Okay, no, I just seen the bigger bill. Okay.
Anything else regarding the bills that we have for Carl or any of the other staff? Questions, comments? Otherwise, we'll place it on file, Kim. Okay. Moving on to communication center news. Good updates.
The numbers, slowly going up as the weather gets nicer and we get busier. But kind of what we expect to see for the year, for this time of year. The only other thing is we completed our transition to receive text 911. So now depending on your cell phone carrier, we're capable of receiving picture text. We're not really telling, we're not advertising it, but if somebody sends a picture to 911, if that affects one of the larger cell phone carriers, we're capable of receiving. That's all I really have. Yeah, telecommunicator week was 2 weeks ago. Well, 3 weeks ago, something like that. So we celebrated by, I guess we had a couple of games and then we brought up in food for each chef.
Cool. And we have interviews for,
Communication captain, want to replace me next week.
any questions, comments? Certainly appreciate what Kevin has done, especially with the transition into the new system that we have, based on that. And now we're looking forward for him to be taking Carl's place. I don't think you're gonna have to wear a brown shirt though, I believe.
No, I got one.
You got one. Okay.
How old is that?
Throwback Thursday?
Throwback Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out the last time I wore a brown shirt and I found a brown shirt with a stripe on it with sergeant stripes, but I was never a patrol sergeant. So it had to be detective sergeant. So I'm thinking late 90s was the last time I had a brown uniform.
Once again, thank you, Kevin. For this. Place it on file, please, and then we'll go to corrections. Kevin?
I don't know if I can say the numbers are trending up like Kevin. Numbers are what they are. There's nothing standing out with that. Corrections week was a couple weeks ago, same thing with some food. We grilled out for everybody, just kind of a change of pace, so they appreciated that. Couple
Last
inmates,
week.
couple inmates are keeping officers on their toes.
Corrections week, it's last week now.
Couple weeks, couple days, couple weeks. Corrections week was last week.
Somebody said up at the courthouse, they could smell the grills up there.
Look at the inmates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't have a riot.
But I smell, not indoors,
Yeah.
no, but I could smell it on my way out. And it smelled wonderful.
There's something about the smell of a grill.
Yeah.
We had to do another water shut off last week, so they could replace some of the valves for the water system that was at down third.
Second and
second
third floor.
floor.
Yep.
So we had to get porta potties in here again, escort the inmates down. So I think it took about 4 a.m. I think they completed the project, started at 6 at night, so a little bit inconvenient, second time we've done it, so a little bit smoother this time. And I got a couple of inmates that are keeping the officers on their toes. They broke one of our kiosks, spit in the officer's face, 2 officers' face, so we had exposures, but they didn't deem it an exposure because they didn't get in their eyes. Just another, something to bring up of the risk and factors that go along with the everyday things that happens in the jail that people kind of tend to forget about once in a while. So, other than that, nothing else.
How many inmates do you have?
Usually 200, 210,
And what counties do we still?
Wooden Portage, 75 from, that's the one we're gonna be losing next.
That's the one we're losing.
And they have been, Mr. Moore, they have been working for the last couple of years, certainly the sheriffs, you know,
Trying to shop
invited them
around.
to shop around. Fill those spaces for Woodcomb. Next year already,
January, they'll be out in January.
they'll be transferring over to their own.
A lot of other counties have found alternatives to housing inmates, so we're gonna strike them out. Need replacements for them.
Jail anymore?
A lot of people put them on the ankle bracelet.
Oh, yeah.
They've been very hard working at it, trying to find something. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, we'll place that in file as well. And thank you for that. Detective Division.
Yeah, burglary, one last month, we're down 3, thefts, increased. Up 4 from the previous month, drug cases about the same. Sex offenses is down just a little bit. Child abuse the same, and frauds, and so, overall, pretty much the same numbers, total from the previous month to April.
Comments, questions by supervisors? Now we'll place it on file. Thank you. Patrol Division.
Month of April, the crash numbers are consistent with what we saw last year for the month of April. Do not have any traffic fatalities throughout April, which is a very good thing. One notable crash that we had a tractor versus car collision northeast of Clintonville during the month of April. That one was attributed to some inattentive driving issues. The driver was not paying attention, had their hand out the window briefly, and the driver was cited in that case for inattentive driving and driving left of center, where they basically collided head on with the tractor. No other notable crashes for the month of April. One thing of note, we had the 2 new canines that we received over the past couple of months. One of those, the canine Any, went in for the spay surgery. The spay itself went very smooth. During the recovery phase, the dog was able to open its own incisions and did have some internal injuries that resulted from that, was hospitalized for a period of time. And the medical bills, obviously, for an extended canine stay with a surgery involved are quite extensive, to the tune of about $13,000. That's kind of the cost of doing business with the dogs. That's one of the reasons why we do the fundraising with the dogs, to be prepared for that kind of stuff. But just so everybody's aware, that is something that comes along with the package deal. The dog was going to have about a 50-50 chance of surviving following the surgery, and the dog is on the mend. We're hoping that we're going to have Any back on patrol with her handler, Deputy Cam Holz, within the next week or 2 if everything goes well. She does have a checkup coming up to make sure that the incisions are closing properly and that she's fit for duty. That's all I have at this point.
Ms. Morris.
How much does a new dog cost, and are there trainers from around here?
The kennel that we purchase our dogs from is located in the northern part of Iowa. Is actually a Clintonville native originally, so he typically will give the sheriff's office here in Waupaca County a hometown discount. And the costs vary from one dog to another. Depends whether it's a single purpose dog where it handles narcotics and tracking, or what they call a dual purpose dog. A dual purpose dog is trained for narcotics tracking and apprehension, where if we had a violent suspect, we could deploy that dog to apprehend the suspect. So currently we have 3 dogs that are dual purpose, 1 dog that's a single purpose. Single purpose is obviously significantly cheaper than dual purpose. And do you remember what the cost of the most recent 2 were? Was it 10 and 5?
Any was 6.
So 6,000 for the single purpose, and I think the dual purpose is about 10, 12,000. That's typically about the going rate with other kennels. Others are usually a little bit more expensive than that. Some agencies are paying up in the range of about 15,000 for a dual purpose dog. And then you also have the training on top of that. You typically have to send the handler to that kennel to get the training. One advantage we have with purchasing all of our dogs from the same kennel is our trainer will actually come here for the recertification training. So rather than us having to send 4 canine handlers out of town or sometimes out of state, our trainer comes from Iowa to do the recertification here.
Can I just share something for the supervisors and anyone else? I will say that having practiced in several other counties and seen a lot of videos of dog sniffs, the trainer and the handlers who our sheriff's department is using are excellent. And, you know, not to throw shade on any other agency, but I will tell you that the videos of dog sniffs of vehicles that I have seen from the dogs with this agency have been textbook, perfect, unquestionable, when they're played in front of a judge. And that is so, so important when it gets to the point of coming to court. And so whatever it costs, it's worth every penny, because it means that those prosecutions are successful and the convictions are sticking. For what it's worth, I just thought I would share that.
I think that's worth quite a bit, right?
Sure.
Appreciate this.
And with that expansion from 3 dogs to 4 after Sheriff Wells approved adding the 4th dog, we now have a dog with each shift. So that sends a big message to the community about our stance on drug activity here in Waupaca County. We're taking proactive measures to get those drugs off the street.
Do
Once the
dogs
dogs are full.
do dogs have to be retrained, or do they remember what they're supposed to do forever?
So with the handler going to the training, they build that rapport with one handler. So each dog has its own assigned handler. If for some reason we would have to change handlers at some point, which we don't have to do that, our handlers are all handling their dogs very well, that would require the new handler and the dog to go back to the kennel for some training, because the handler needs to know how to read that dog properly, that they're picking up on the signs of what the dog's doing, alerting to the presence of narcotics properly, not just on a wild goose chase. We need to make sure that these things are court defensible, and from a tracking perspective, making sure that that new handler is on their game, so that if there's a missing kid somewhere, they know that they're reading their dog correctly. It's more the handler that needs the training than the dog at that point.
The handlers practice with the dogs regularly, though. They do training with controls here. Right.
And Nick, Captain Traeger was a handler, so he can shed light on that as well. Was it 1 hour a day?
So we would train 1 hour a shift for the highway shop, so we have, training drugs that are kept secure in a safe here at the sheriff's office that we get from the federal government. And then we sign them out to ourselves
use it and then sign it back into the safe when we're done, and then it's documented. You know, the location, weather conditions, you know, inside, outside, what drug the dog was trained on. And he would do that for an hour a shift. And then sometimes on your day off, like once a month, you would get together with another handler, you would maybe spend an hour or two, and then the once a year recertification with Paul from Iowa. So the dogs are constantly getting trained on the different drugs. So that's up to the handler to make sure you do that.
Thank you.
How many years do you get out of the life of a dog?
Healthy dog, typically 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
Kind of depends on the breed too. I had a Dutch Shepherd, so he's 13 now. He still wants to go to work, but physically he's not able to. But
Okay.
they never lose that drive.
Parks lot. So it's the most barking dog I think we had.
We're very lucky to have the community support, health community support. We wouldn't be able to maintain the canine program at the level we do. Through the fundraising the community does because they feel it's such a strong priority. We agree.
And we show the dogs off a lot more than when I was even doing it at events, community events, schools. Bring
Yeah.
dogs in to show the kids at the schools. So we've done a lot more. of that.
lockers.
So,
Good.
They're welcome to come visit my office.
all right.
That was our big complaint, that they haven't been brought.
As an
We
educator,
like dogs.
as an educator, I can really appreciate you bringing in dogs to the schools and so forth. I think that really sends a message to the students. Don't bring drugs to school.
I think we have to give some credit to the man to my left here, the sheriff, because I see in the community, he does and has involved staff. Obviously, you have credit for this too. However, your sheriff has done a great deal to support the K-9 unit, the diet team, we could go on and on. And without his support and direction, you wouldn't have what you have. And I certainly appreciate all the work the staff is doing on this, but we need that community involvement and also that those donations, so they're part of it, they have ownership of those programs. And Sheriff Wills has done a great job of that. So thank you.
We got a great staff.
Yeah, you do. Anything else, there, comments regarding patrol, actually? Did we catch the buffalo yet? Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
I think it's wild wings.
Okay.
We need a buffalo whisper.
Oh, no.
We were gently reminded at the bison.
Okay, there's a bite, yeah, not a buffalo. Put that in file, please, and we'll go to records division, please.
Not too much. Our canine revenue has actually gone up. We have the golf outing this weekend. And I also expect the CMB revenue to go up for April as it's the bike season coming up and everybody's gonna register them. I do just want to remind you guys, I don't know if you're aware, but there's a drive-through difference day. And that's happening tomorrow at Farmer State Bank. It's from 11 to 2 and 4 to 6, where you can pre-order pizzas to go pick up their cooked. So you pick them up, I think they can do 4 for 5 minutes, they said. So you're welcome to sign up or walk up to,
There are no more time blocks available to sign up,
that's a good thing.
so you'll have to walk in.
Yeah, and then they're also coming to the sheriff's office on Thursday to feed everybody here at the office. We have 2 trainings going on and they said, bring them all. So it's pretty cool that Bernatello's is doing that for us and it's all a fundraiser for us. That is all I have
Yes, for mental health.
for a mental health program, yeah.
For mental health program. Any comments or questions? Thank you, Phil. Medical examiner's report.
All right, for the April, we had 48 natural deaths, 1 accidental, it was due to a fall. We had 4 suicides and 1 death that is pending further investigation for a total of 49. 36 of those are cremation, and that's all I have.
Any questions at all? Clear, succinct report. Thank you. We'll put it on file. Chief Deputy Carl, you wanna say a few words?
I'll say a few words. The budget to actual, that we received in May, we're at 31% capacity, and that's pretty much on par as we usually are. I would have been in a panic if it would have said 50%, because we're only in the 5th month of the year, so. But I wanted to, say that our, capital projects, and I know it was mentioned, it's always mentioned in finance that it's kind of, you really don't have the real solid number till your capital projects are done, but the carpet's all done, and the epoxy on the floors in this building, if you wanna look where it all went down, that is completed. Squad car purchases are always, lagging behind, but, most of them are done, and just like I said, the weapons and such like that, we cleared that up. The one thing I want to bring up, and that's going to be Kevin's. Kevin's going to have a budget in the month of June, so there's a couple things though I just wanted to bring up, and I've always, in the years I've been here, it's always been wants, needs, and critical when we look at items for capital under or capital over, and I just wanted just a couple things is the gas masks that SWAT team uses and everything else, probably capital under, but that's one of the items. We're also looking at additional flock cameras. Them cameras that you see around the county, as far as monitoring plate readers, crime and such, has been a huge asset to this department and such. I don't know if this will get by, but out in our lobby, just a quick thing, out in our lobby, and I've noticed through all my years here, sometimes we have people that are a little loud, a little unruly. They come into the lobby and they're at a different level, or they're telling us confidentially information, and it might not be this year, but down the road, it's a consideration to have a soft interview room or an interview room in that space by the trophy cabinet, because sometimes you can walk out, we can hear them, me and the sheriff can hear people out in the lobby that are getting a little bit elevated, and we go out there and talk to them and everything else, and it's not that they have to come into the secured area, that you can talk to them in a side room, because there's more people in the lobby that are listening to the conversations. You can set them aside, take the complaint and such like that. I have no cost estimate. It probably is not going to be my weight to toe, but it would be a nice addition to the lobby. And the lobby's not really being used for visitors really anymore in the jail. So it's kind of space that it's big lobby, and it's kind of space that's out there. It would be nice if you have additional people out there for the security of, complaint or what they're saying and such. If you ever been to New London PD, they got that side room off from the main lobby receptionist area and such. So the only things that we get hit on is just 2 things. The SWAT budget, we're on our own right now. Everybody took their own that participate with us. New London, Waupaca, Clintonville, they have their own budgets. Now we have our budget, but there's always new technology and keeping up to date on weaponry and such. So the SWAT budget is something to consider, to look at. We get by with between that and organizational expense, but it is one of ours. When I look at you know, the budget to actual, it's one of the elevated ones when you're looking at percentages, you know. And the cost of uniforms is the other one that I look at it, and that's throughout. That's from communications to patrol to administration and stuff. And that's, one of the items. It's not gonna, I don't know if it'll be proposed, but it's a consideration that when you see, you know, I always use red line, green line. Green line good, red line not good, because it's being elevated. I can see the percentages. So them are considerations that, will be in the future, I'm sure, but, there's other items, but I just wanted to give you an update. Here it is, May already, and June, I'm sure the packets will come out for us to, Heidi will have them late June, and it'll be something down the road to consider. So I always gave kind of a heads up to law enforcement community, so I just wanted to make everybody aware of that. I don't have anything else.
So do you need an estimate of what that?
I was asking, we do have builders that did the, lobby or the, records project. They'd probably be able to put something together for that, you know.
It would be good to have it before your
Sure.
budget, so you got
Sure.
an idea, so.
Sure, if it gets,
And I'm in favor of that, because I think it'd be beneficial to utilize the space properly, so,
yes,
but you need an estimate somehow.
yes.
Okay.
Your SWAT budget, is the increase due to additional SWATs? At times you're called out? Or is it?
It was an accumulative, money amount that they afforded to us to buy as a team whole. Now where everybody's pretty much on their own vests, helmets, weaponry, and everything else. But we're the, as far as personnel, we're one of the larger ones of the group, so it just like, this year, when we were talking about gas, I knew that the gas that we used was getting old, but it's mandated that we, you know, have that supply if we ever need that. So if Andy can,
So like he's mentioning with the gas, that would be or when we have a scenario where somebody's in a house refusing to come out, we have an armed suspect and we have to take that person into custody. If we can send gas into that house, that's gonna drive them out of that house versus having to send officers in to go bring them out. If we can force them out of that house, that brings the incident to a safe resolution. The challenging thing is it's something you don't use terribly often, but when you need it, you're gonna need enough of it to clean out an entire house. You're gonna have to drive them towards that exit. And we're at the point where we've had the same gas for several years, and now it's time to start replacing it. So that the supplies are gonna work when you need it. Or another thing you mentioned is communications, where you get on any kind of critical incident, communications is vital. And also, we learned this in 2017 when we had the James Dax incident with gunfire inside of a building. You also want to try to incorporate hearing protection into your communication for those that are highly likely to be in that building when that gunfire is going off. It's going to give some hearing loss that it's going to be permanent if we don't provide some sort of hearing protection built into that communication.
and it seems like every piece of equipment has an expiration date, every shield, every vest, every helmet, every, you know, gas mask and everything. They all have. I can see how manufacturers make the money on that part, but they put expiration dates on almost everything, you know, that we have, and heaven forbid we ever had to use it and it's an expired piece of equipment or somebody should get hurt on it with that, you know.
One thing that we are doing is we're making a push for the team leadership to keep track of those expiration dates. Let us know as this stuff is coming close to the end of its shelf life so that we can stagger things when possible, so that we can know, okay, this is coming versus this is expired. You'd rather know when it's approaching expiration rather than, hey, this is no good anymore. We have nothing. So we want to know about that further ahead of time.
And ammo is always going, there's no breaks as far as the ammo. It's hard to come by and it's very expensive.
We supply the sniper rifles and the ammo for the sniper.
You mentioned, gas mask. Does every officer have a gas mask or just a SWAT team or
For SWAT,
just a SWAT?
because those are the ones that are trained in actually deploying the gas, then actually train with the gas mask on, shooting with the gas mask on, going into a building that has gas in it. That's part of the basic SWAT training. So those are the ones that are going to be using the gas masks.
Is there an expiration date on those?
The masks themselves typically don't. It's the filters that
Filter.
will have the expiration. Every mask has a screw-on filter, and each filter has its own shelf life to it. The masks, it depends on how often they're used. Typically, they'll have a rubber gasket like any other face mask may have, and those usually don't wear out.
I get to play with it when the college riots are back. And I gassed our one guys one day, but not bad. It's fun.
They have to be certified too. We have a person that goes in and they have to look
Okay.
at it and know that they've got proper seals.
Fit tests and the technology is improved. The filters are much better. If you were to go with some of the older gas masks, the filters would allow more stuff through than what the current ones do. But with improved technology and better filters, typically the better it is, the shorter the shelf life is gonna be.
Okay. No,
No, Carl, that's it. Any other comments or questions? Sheriff's report.
Okay. Well, I really don't have anything. Everyone pretty much gave you all the information on what's going on in the sheriff's office. Jim said we do have a canine outing this weekend, Saturday. So if you don't mind, I'll jump to the Fremont and courtroom security and boat resolution.
No problem. Right down the line, which,
Courtroom security, no update on this end. I don't know if you guys have any updates.
I'm not part of that.
Part of it.
No, we haven't. I think that's probably the next month's.
And we'll just keep putting it on the agenda, just.
Right. So we can go updates on it. Now, I'm assuming you have some input though on that.
I haven't been to a meeting. Carl, you've been to a meeting. I don't know how they went.
For the committee's knowledge, myself and Captain Sturgeon also did provide training for the Department of Human Services on safety and awareness for all of the people on second floor to provide them with how they can keep themselves safe here, but also offsite. But we're taking proactive measures to try to help with that.
Yeah, we attend the meetings just to keep online if there's any questions from our end as far as staff and such.
Back to courthouse security, do you feel you've had adequate input, Sheriff,
As far
as to what measures are going to be set up in the revised courthouse to, for example, the locks on the doors or whatever you were recommending?
I haven't been in any of those meetings where, other than they talked about the artificial intelligence portion of it. And that according to whether it be the manufacturer or whoever developed that, there should be a manned person on floor with that AI. So other than that, we haven't gotten any further with that, have we? Andy, have you?
No, that's about where he's at with it. Just preliminary stages.
Yeah, so the only thing I have is the recommendation from the manufacturer. I don't know when the next meeting is.
Which said when last Friday.
We meet monthly as far as the courthouse, but pretty much, but I would be hoping that our consultant would be checking with you on that kind of thing. Something I think would be working behind the scenes rather than a whole meeting the security.
Can I touch a little bit on it,
Impact.
Tim? Can I touch a little bit on your courthouse security stuff?
Good.
So we started back right around when COVID started. Todd and I, when he was the captain here, we started training. We started at the third floor training them the run, hide, fight when there's an active shooter. and then we ran a drill for them. Then we moved down to the second floor and took a while to get all those groups through, train them, and then we just did a lockdown drill for them a month or two ago. And our next step is to get to the first floor, teach them run, hide, fight, and what their expectations and stuff are. We also do it with new employees when they start, so all the new employees see it. They've been doing it for quite a while. We've done a few other things around the courthouse with first aid. We've had de-escalation training. We've done everything that we can possibly do that's reactive if something happens. And we need to spend more time and finances on proactive. We need to be, we don't want that threat inside the building. That's where we gotta start focusing on. We've done everything from first aid kits to first aid to run, hide, fight, if something happens, but we gotta stop it before something happens. And that's what we need to really focus on.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Any other questions on that?
Andy was with Captain Wiskirchen and I as well when we did the training. Forgot to mention that.
Yes.
Fremont TV. So I would need the committee here to approve that we move forward with an approval for one full-time officer at Fremont PD. As you know, Fremont dissolved the police department. We, for the month of April, worked some 4-hour shifts throughout the month. We had 143 calls there. That includes, of course, traffic stops and everything else. Involved in this, in the village only. So, and that's been since March, I believe.
30th, I think.
What's that?
Yeah, March 30th.
March 30th till now. So that's a large number of complaints. So Fremont is willing to go into a contract agreement. I have a meeting with them tonight at 6. Discuss not only the updates on the number of complaints we handled there, but also our agreement contractually. So we did go through HR and finance. Finance is gonna meet before the county board next week, Tuesday at 8 o'clock, or is it 8:30? Somewhere in there. So I need the approval from my committee here to move forward with that. To approve a full-time officer at Fremont. As a state statute reads, any village or city under 5,000, the sheriff's office has to, let's say, dissolve their police department. We have to handle all their calls.
So right now, we don't have an agreement with
Fremont. But the agreement doesn't preclude us from having to go handle all their calls.
Correct.
So what you have done is you assessed it and you gave obviously some numbers here that it would warrant us to have a full-time officer on site.
And they are willing to pay us. The amount has not been agreed upon yet,
Okay,
but we gave them what we consider he was a full-time officer without overtime. We give them that amount, and that's what we told them we would like to be at. That's around 109,000. So
are we talking Monday through Friday?
we're talking every other weekend. There's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and alternate. 48 one week, 32 the next.
Like you have now, actually, where you bring.
Exactly the way respectful officers run their.
Okay. And you really feel that it would be worthwhile to add the additional officers versus trying to have our current officers that we have.
We wouldn't be able to handle.
And I was just gonna say, you assess that on that.
And this is something that's across the board, the state. Sheriff's offices are consuming small police departments that have dissolved their police departments. It doesn't make sense for them to hire for the training, the vehicle cost, the technology cost. They just can't keep up with it because they're stepping stone departments typically. And the attorney for Fremont drew up the contract for Greenville, Outagamie County. you're the town of Freedom for Outagamie County, town of Buchanan, and the town of Combined Locks for Outagamie County. So she's no stranger to contracts.
Were they working regular patrol hours or were they like determined hours? The shift that they'll work, like you said, the days of the week.
Oh, well, we ran the numbers. And typically Fremont goes from 700 to 4,000 during the summer.
During the summer.
And typically it's from either noon to midnight or 2 to 2 is when you're more active calls for Fremont.
I think Andy came up with a volume and frequency chart. Call volume.
The hours they would work would match when the highest volume calls.
And then, okay, so you're looking at telling them 109,000, but ultimately it's gonna cost the county a little bit more than that, but we're still responsible for the area anyway. Right, but to get those, some of that officer money is better than not recouping in, and still having to cover the area.
Correct. And also and of course, this was just preliminary, maybe get an increase each year throughout this, kind of make it a 5-year contract. So currently their technology, their squad, their weapons, hopefully, they would be willing to sell or have us sell them or whatever we take to add to the first year. Also, the evidence would come over to the Waupaca County. Would be able to carry us. Because right now they don't have a police department.
Yeah.
It's totally resolved.
So we have to hire then a additional officer? Or you just assign a different officer?
No, we'll hire an extra officer, but we'll give the whole office, patrol officers, the opportunity to be assigned to that.
Okay,
By having somebody down there versus not having somebody down there, it's good for the entire county in that area.
Yeah.
The person's assigned there, we wouldn't pull them for non-emergency calls, but if we have a bad crash in the town of Fremont or out on 10 somewhere, we can pull them over.
But the Fremont officer would probably come anyway, I mean, in.
The problem is that-
So it's not,
yeah.
right.
Right, but if we didn't have them at all, then we lost that.
Right.
that help.
I guess what I'm saying is, it's a good thing.
Yes.
To have that person. Had it in the past, and I will have.
And we've been handling calls down there for quite some time, but we don't handle their calendar city or the village ordinances. And with the contract, then they would handle all of their city ordinances with their attorneys. We would do OWI first and any crimes that were committed in our court system.
This has been talked about at the, it's the finances on board.
Yeah, and we requested it though, that it come from this.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Okay.
It's gone to HR as well.
In order to get a sense of what it would cost and what the position would be.
Well, we don't have a cost.
Oh, no, but I'm thinking HR would be the.
For the
position.
actual position.
I mean, do you have a ballpark figure? A ballpark figure, what it's gonna cost the county?
Additionally,
Right,
we don't know.
we don't, okay. And I'll have-
But we would have to provide the service.
We have to provide the service.
So, and having someone locally would be.
The officer can then become part of the community too. Because it went switch the officers. 3 months into it or 6 months into it. It would be every year you can pick to be in that village.
And I think it's good continuity at their village meetings to have that officer they're familiar with, get the presentations of their statistics, numbers, and, what's going on actually. That's would be part of the job duties as far as that goes.
I think that's a real good suggestion, Carl. Haven't served on the city council in London, but we always look forward to see where our money is being spent on that.
And that would be, that was already in the contract, as a matter of fact.
So you need a motion on that?
Yeah,
I'll
Rule?
make, I'll make that motion.
to allow the sheriff to, continue with the 3-month PD contract.
Working with the contract for an additional officer.
Yep.
For,
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second
for city of.
Village.
Village. 3 months.
Thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor and a second. To allow the sheriff to essentially, add an additional police officer for the, village of Fremont through his office. Any, further discussion on
And
that?
continue to work for a contract.
Continue to proceed with the contract. Let Kim figure out how that's gonna be written, actually. So any further discussion on? I think you all understand what we're going towards.
Thanks for the answer.
You're welcome.
Good job of that. Hearing none, all in favor for the motion, say aye. Any contrary? So moved. Very good. What do you got next? Boat resolution again.
Yeah, we got a contingency fund to transfer for water patrol boat. We currently have our own boats for the Wolf River. And that is exactly what we would like to do with the Chain of Lakes. Currently, right now, the Chain of Lakes boats are owned by Farmington and supposedly us. Dayton gave up their boats to us in a resolution. Farmington chose not to put our names on it.
Oh.
And Farmington has been, well, it's just gonna be easier for finance, it's gonna be easier for us to have our own boats. All the boats then to go to Spencer Lake or any surrounding lakes in that area. Similar to what we do with the Wolf River boats, if we need, we got a complaint on Bear Lake, pull the boat, go over to Bear Lake. Right now, the boats under Farmington's control cannot be removed. Go to other lakes.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a trailer boat.
Yep.
Similar to, like you said, similar to the ones you put on.
Yeah, the only addition would be that we have 2 boat lists. And if we can get, Dayton's already agreed with this, not formally, but off record, to give us one of the boat lifts. Veterans Home has agreed with an MOU to keep a boat lift there, so we can put it on the boat lift, but of course, if we need it, we can pull it, trailer it down to the next Spencer Lake or whatever lake we want. Continue water patrol for that as well. So that's what we're at.
I'll move to do that.
What kind of money are we looking at?
It's 45,000. That would include the boat, motor, trailer. And all the electronics we would need, including lights.
That's coming out of contingency fund.
Transfer. And I'm assuming we're taking the items off of the current boats, some of the things that we
Yes,
added on to it, like the radio.
yes.
We need a motion to, actually transfer money from the contingency fund for the purchase of a patrol boat by the sheriff's department. Have a motion to that effect?
Also move.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to, make the transfer of funding to purchase a additional water patrol boat. Any further discussion?
Just a couple of questions from my curiosity. How many boats do you currently have?
We have 2 on the Wolf River. And we supposedly own 38% of both of those boats.
Okay.
And the boat lifts. Now, I forgot to mention that we are under a 5-year depreciation value.
Say it was brought up at
State.
finance.
State will pay us back over 5 years for this boat.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we have a? And again, curiosity.
Sure.
Our boats now are, how old are they? I mean, are we looking at replacing them in a?
No, the boat on the Wolf River was just replaced in, I believe, 18 or 19.
How long do they typically last?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I know boats last.
10.
forever, But,
10 years,
okay, so it is right, we have one place for that, like
right.
7, 8 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So acid will.
Yeah, once the depreciation is done, the boats are in still great shape. We maintain them well. Our secondary boat on the Whoop is a flat bottom. Its condition is good. They use that as a backup boat. Or if it's a small lake, flat bottom, they can take it.
And this new boat you're looking at is. Kind of a
A
boat.
Ranger,
It'll be bought local too.
Buck Peterson. Right.
Do those call for bids?
Again, thank you. I don't need to get, just.
The boats, do you go for bids or? I'm just curious, there's a manufacturer in New London, can't think of the name.
Went to Amherst Marine.
Amherst, yeah.
And to,
Right.
we went to both Amherst Marine and Peterson.
There's one in New London. I can't think of it.
The one up by, Becker, up at Becker.
Yeah, yeah.
4-3
Oh,
Starts with a T.
Sucks to be old.
4-3 month?
No, it's manufacturer. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Coffee.
Tuffy, there you go, thank you. Tuffy.
Yeah, we say Amherst Marine, they are now in our county by the Sheridan Hill. Yeah.
built a new big building. Haven't seen it?
No.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Again, thank you. I don't mean that.
No,
But thanks for that.
And the
Good
boats,
questions.
the boats that, the chain currently has, at least one of them needed to be replaced anyway.
Both of them.
Or both now, okay, but I knew for sure one was definitely, which we would have incurred a significant cost because we're, yeah. And we, as Sheriff pointed out, we do get depreciation, so it basically comes back that we're get reimbursed
Yeah, 4 or 5.
by the, yeah. So it's very small cost to us as such, and then we have control of the actual boat. To go where we think is necessary or most appropriate to be used, so it's like, as you stated a couple of years ago, it's like having a patrol car. Now you have control over it, so.
Or we could never take it out of the chain before. Now we can.
Yeah, yeah. It's ours, it'll be ours. And that- So can we have a motion to, oh, we did, didn't we? Yeah, there's our discussion, sorry. I got listening here. I lost track. Appreciate it. Any further discussion at all? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any contrary? So move. Thank you, Sheriff, for that.
Thank you.
And we move down now to the approval of the generators. Wish to talk about that at all?
That's for the two new towers we're building, one at Simcoe, replacing that tower and then building a new one at London. This is just part of the puzzle. It's the generator that would support the 200 amp service. We put it out for bids. One of them came back that didn't meet our specs. 3 of them met our specs, and the lowest bid was Walter. They use Generac, which we're not afraid of because that's what we have at all of our other sites, but 2. And they were the lowest bid, so that's one that we're recommending going with for that.
Make a motion to approve the bid, $32,058.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to accept the bid recommendations of the Walter Power System for a generator. Any further
That's
discussion?
2.
Two generators.
Yeah, that's
Generators.
Yeah.
That's 33 per.
yes. And that's what transfer switch.
Okay. All right.
Any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any contrary? So moved. Kim, do we just have to have what the motion was made by so-and-so and seconded by so-and-so, and that's all we need?
Yep.
Do you need to sign it at all, or is it just simply your record? Okay. Very good, thank you. And we have approval of the inmate phone video tablet service.
Let's touch briefly on it. I know we talked last month on it. But with phone and tablet system, basically that's going up with proposals and came back. They all have hide their commission rates differently. Some will do 55 and 65, and then we'll move the phone rates and the messaging all around. But with researching and talking to other agencies, I mean, Stellar Services, again, their hands down through customer service. And that's one thing we really want to zone in on us for here, because the previous provider had a lot of struggles with 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where they have a person on call 24/7. They'll answer your phone in the middle of the night and they're gonna fix any problems we got. So after that, we're recommending Stellar Services to move forward with their phone and tablet system.
Is there a motion to
Also move.
second? Motion made second to approve the recommendation for the phone video tablet service. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any contrary, so moved. Got that approved. Next, we have a food and laundry service.
Food and laundry service, like that, two, I believe, that came in for proposals. One is Consolidated that we currently are with, and they agreed to keep the rates the same for 1 more year. We're happy with the service they provided, so not broke, don't fix it. We're recommending moving forward with Consolidated again.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the recommended inmate food and laundry service as discussed. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any contrary? So inmate commissary and accounting software services.
This kind of goes hand in hand with the video tablet system at Stellar Service again with proposal. It actually works nicely because the tablets and the phone system and the banking system need to be all in one with the two companies. So this makes it a little more seamless. And again, the customer service is what's going to win out on Stellar Services.
We have a motion to,
Also move.
is there a second? Mark, said. Motion made and seconded to approve the commissary inmate accounting software services. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any contrary? So moved. Down to the inmate health care service.
In healthcare, I believe we had 3 companies put in. One company was significantly over 2 million. Second company was close to that 1.5 the first year. So Waupaca we've been with for the last 20-some years. I mean, cheapest bid, but also we're happy with the service they provide. Recommend going forward with Waupaca.
A recommendation for this, is there a motion to approve?
Also move.
I'll second this.
Motion made and seconded to approve the inmate healthcare services as recommended. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any contrary? So moved. Any supervisor reports at all? Anything anyone went to or something you'd like to make us aware of? Hearing none, we certainly need to make a motion. We are adjourned. Thank you.